Any second now. Okay. What's going on, everybody? Happy Sunday night going into Monday, our last show before the Christmas holiday. So we're excited for this week's edition of the
Bench
Yes, indeed, the Bench Mob. So welcome, everyone, whether you're watching on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube. We're excited to have you here. I am Tim Daniel, excited for this week's show. A lot to talk about. So let's go ahead and get into our panel, of course. My man, 100 grand himself, Mr. Ben Brown.
What's going on, gentlemen? We've got a lot to cover. The NBA has been crazy. The little C word has started to pop back into our vernacular as far as disrupting teams and disrupting games. We've got big injuries and big things to talk about as far as some teams surging, some teams falling. So let's get into it.
Yes, indeed. And Ben, please go ahead and do what we need to do before we get started.
My man, my brother, my ace buku, my number one, Joshua Odellis, Forellis, Montellis, Overzealous, Hayes. What's good, my brother?
Hey man, I'm here excited like you guys are. Fitting, Tim, that you said it's the end of the year, and and you said the C word is coming back around. Nothing fitting to end the year with this pod, and one of the conversation topics that we're going to have is talking about some conspiracy theories. So let's get it.
Indeed. Yes. So if you are tuning in today's show, we're going to talk about obviously the COVIDs. We're going to talk about the Cavaliers. And we got some tinfoil hats we're breaking out for you so you can check out our NBA conspiracy theories. Bum, bum, bum.
Man, too bad we couldn't play that the music from the
X-Files.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you follow Shams and Woj, you obviously know what's going on. NBA teams and their COVID issues are striking strong. Kyrie Irving decides he's going to come back to basketball and then has to go into the COVID protocols.
Yes, he does. Grand opening, grand closing.
Which means in the span of 17 games that Kyrie Irving could be and he can play in, 2 of them.
That's crazy.
2. So, obviously today, the NBA postponed the Nuggets, Nets, the Cavs, the Hawks, the Pelicans, and 76ers. We've obviously seen this going around the NFL. College basketball has been big. Memphis versus Tennessee was literally canceled 40 minutes before scheduled tip-off yesterday.
And Tennessee had to do an inter squad. Like it was that quick. Like they had to throw an inter squad together.
Yeah, they did. So, the conversation I want to have here isn't necessarily like about the news because it's, if you, like I said, Woj and Shams, if you have them on push notifications, that's all you're getting at this point. Mm-hmm. No trades, no releases, no signings, I guess hardship signings, but it is all like this person's in protocol, this person's in protocol, this person's in protocol. So what I'm about to say, I don't intend to be insensitive because I do respect and understand that this is obviously very serious and we want to make sure we're protecting everybody. And I'm all for safety. I'm all for the vaccine. I'm all for the booster. I'm for all that. But whatever these protocols are, we're going to have to lessen them at some point. And my point isn't necessarily like, let's not be protective of COVID by any means, because obviously, yes, like so many people have died. You don't want anything bad to happen. I'm aware of all this. Mm-hmm. But if the league is going to play, if we're going to go through this on like a consistent basis, like, it might have to be something like the way like some of the colleges are doing now. They only test people if they show symptoms. Mm-hmm. And, there might be guys out there who are asymptomatic, but like, at this point, it's like, I don't know what we can necessarily do. And I'm not trying to be like, let's not be safe or anything like that. But you have to think the NBA is looking at this like this is gosh darn ridiculous right now.
Yeah, they are. I mean, I think that the biggest thing is just the understanding of what's going on. When you listen to, I think it was Draymond Green. They were interviewing about what are the protocols why are the protocol like what are the protocols, and like if people are vaccinated or they've gotten the booster or they've all these people are supposed to be vaccinated against the against COVID. Why are we having so many relapses of cases where people are falling into the protocol? If a person is vaccinated and they've gotten a booster and they don't show any sign, like what makes you go into the protocol? Is it because
Right.
you have, do you have symptoms? Do you not have symptoms? Were you around somebody that had symptoms? Because if that's the case, like a whole team should go into protocol, because there's not one practice where, say LeBron James went into protocol. Like everybody in that practice was around LeBron James. So why isn't the whole team in protocol? So how do you
because he tweeted it's something fishy with a bunch of fish emojis.
Yeah, exactly. but you know what I mean? Like if Russell Westbrook's in protocol and then a day later he's out of protocol, why was he in protocol? What made him go into the protocol? Kyrie Irving is unvaccinated and has not, I'm assuming, hasn't been around anybody that's like what made him go into the protocol? Kevin Durant. Was he around somebody that
James
had
Harden?
it? James Harden. Are they showing symptoms? That's kind of what I want to know. Like, is it for people that show symptoms? Because that can't be the case, because there's no way that you could show symptoms and then test negative like LeBron and like Westbrook did 2 days later and then be fine. Now you're out of the protocol. So it's not symptoms. It's not it's not a positive test, because I would assume that I don't know if it's just because somebody's around somebody, or say LeBron went to a birthday party, or Russell Westbrook went out to dinner, or I don't know. So like I don't know if they've got to do some kind of test to stay, like they do in schools. If they're asymptomatic, maybe there's a protocol for that. But at some point, they've got to make a decision like, okay, are we trying to play games? And I know it's about safety, and I get it. I understand it completely. It is
Same.
100% safety. I get it. However, what are we trying to get accomplished? We've got, I want to say it's got to be like 98% of the league is vaccinated, maybe. I want to say
around there, they said, yeah.
Somewhere in there. Like the league is doing their job with vaccinations and boosters and all that stuff. Let's look at the protocol and see why we're doing what we're doing, and see if we can make some changes. See if we can do some adjustments. Because if a guy can be in protocol on Wednesday and be able to play on Friday, and then some guys have to take full 10-day protocols, what's the difference? Why is there such a difference, and why is there different strokes for different folks? I don't get it.
Well, first for me, Kevin Durant's been in protocol like 9 times already.
Right.
And I think in the beginning, like one was close contact, one was he actually contracted COVID, and this last one, I don't know what he went into protocol for, to be honest with you. And they don't say why some of these players are going into protocol. A couple weeks ago, we were sitting here talking about how LeBron went into protocol, and he was pretty pissed about it. And then next thing you know, 2 days later, like he's cleared, and he's back to playing again after he tested negative, twice. So I don't know if this is and the NBA is not going to do this because they would lose an insane amount of money. But it's almost like you need to go to the point where, like, if it's getting this crazy, like, I'm not even going to say the word shutdown, but I mean a 2-week, like, either get to the All-Star break and be like, hey, we need to shut down for 2 weeks and like let everything clear. Everybody's got to go quarantine. I don't know. I don't know what the approach is to take to try to fix what's going on, because I didn't think we would get to this point where they were canceling games, because I thought they'd be able to pull players up from the G League to be able to, fill roster spots. But now you're
not the whole G League, Josh.
Well, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like you got teams now that are like 8-9 guys in protocol, and I think the Nets are up to 10. You know, that's a whole roster. Like your whole roster is in protocol right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the NBA needs to maybe either lighten up on the protocol or they need to at least explain what the protocol is so that people have an understanding of what's going on. Because maybe some of these players are breaking protocol and they don't know that they're breaking protocol. You know, like, oh, I stepped outside the training facility. Oh, you're in protocol now. I went through the drive-through at Wendy's, you know, on my day off and got a 4 for 4, and you're like, oh, you came in contact with the person in the window, like you're in protocol now. Like, I don't know what the protocol is. I don't really understand. I mean, I've actually tried to look up and try to find out, like, when they say a player is in protocol, like, what's the reasoning behind it? And like, you're not getting the distinct reasoning for each player as they go into the protocol.
Yeah. Right.
Because if this is like everyone has COVID, then we got bigger problems. We for sure got bigger problems than like, you know, like.
Yeah. I mean, and here's another thing too about all of that is that, like, I don't see a whole lot of guys anymore wearing masks. I don't see a whole lot of guys stopping their pregame handshakes, their postgame handshakes, all the other things that were being done pre-COVID or during COVID and in the bubble. Like, you know, what if your protocols are supposed to keep them safe? Why would you not enforce the simplest of protocols? You know what I mean?
Well, wasn't that one thing they did? They said they upped the mask usage for
they did up the mask usage.
The testing got upped a little bit. But other than that, I mean, like I said, like if we don't know what causes us to be placed in protocol, because I'm sure some of these players are probably pissed off that they're like, man, I'm in protocol right now. And I don't know why. I don't know why. I haven't turned up a positive test. I ain't showing any symptoms. Like, why am I in protocol? I mean, and I don't know if is it maybe something as simple as like this player's got protocol and I was guarding that guy in practice, so now I'm in protocol. Is it something that simple, or is it just like, I don't know? Because I couldn't see the NBA just wanting to put guys in protocol to risk viewership of the game, canceling games, and moving stuff around for people not to want to watch. So imagine Christmas Day, where it's probably one of their most viewed days in all of the NBA, right? You know, we're all sitting around TV, you know, open presents. You go take a nap, you wake up to watch NBA basketball, and now you have games that are postponed because guys are in protocol, and you don't get to see LeBron or any of the big dogs playing on Christmas Day.
Bro, when you watch the Lakers Nets game and the big like marquee pops up and it's Blake Griffin and LeBron James, no one's excited about that.
Yeah.
No.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. I think you guys make great points. And like we said, for anyone who's like, if anyone listens to this and think like, no, we're not anti being safe here. We just want to know what's going on. Like, if this issue is all these guys that are in protocols have COVID, then yes, we've got problems. We've got to fix something. But if it's like that guy coughed and he got tackled by people in hazmat suits, we don't need to go that far. So, you know, we love hoops. We obviously want everyone to be safe. We just want our NBA to be as normal as it can be in this current time, which we understand is crazy. So, you know, we just want to make sure, like, be safe, but for love of God, like, figure this out is all we're saying. So let's go to some happier topics, guys.
Right.
Let's talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers, the surprise team in the NBA this year. Obviously, like we mentioned, we're on a 6-game win streak today, going into today before their game was postponed. They're currently 19-12. They're third in the Eastern Conference. They're in the top 10 in both offensive and defensive efficiency. Darius Garland has taken this big jump forward. Jared Allen is such a good defensive center. And you guys know that I'll never say a bad thing about Evan Mobley and how good of a basketball player I feel like he is. And Ricky Rubio coming off the bench has been big for them. Lauri Markkanen's played well for them. Isaac Okoro's been in and out, but is really kind of finding his feet again. Hopefully he can stay consistently in the lineup, because when he does play, he is such a dog defensively, and I really enjoy watching him play. And they're getting some good, you know, Ricky Rubio,
Kevin Love.
Yeah, their bench is solid. Lamar Stevens is getting good minutes. This is a good basketball team in my eyes. So at the bottom here, I asked if we're buying or selling the Cavs. I think you can tell by how I'm describing where I'm at. I like this team. I really think they're good. They have a lot of talent, and the ceiling is the roof, as Michael Jordan once said for one Evan Mobley. I just think that guy. I think in 5 years we're potentially discussing him as the best player in the NBA. I really feel that's that well about him. But I love this team. I think they're going to make the playoffs. I do think. I mean, I don't think they're going to be this good all year. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
I don't think 19-12 is who the Cavs are. But this is a team that you need to keep an eye on because they could potentially be really special.
Can I ask you this?
Sure.
So they're 19-12 now.
Mm-hmm.
So they're 31 games in. Like, why can't they sustain that?
I think they can. I just think that what they're playing at this high level is just really hard to keep up all year.
Yeah.
With COVID protocols and injuries and things like that. I mean, they're already down Colin Sexton.
Which honestly, that's been addition by subtraction. I'm not even gonna
lie
to you.
I know, man.
Like, it really has. Like, and I'm not trying to dog Colin Sexton. I'm really not.
I'm with you.
But man, him and I, like I said, I don't want anybody get hurt. So don't. No. I'm not trying to say that, Clevelanders. However, with him going down and Darius Garland being able to play that first spot and Rubio being able to come off the bench, a more proven, solid backup point guard, I think that's helped them immensely. I think it's helped them that Kevin Love and Ricky Rubio are their second team guys that are veterans, guys that when they come on the floor, you don't have to worry about them doing dumb things or giving up a lead or playing outside of themselves. Those guys come in and kind of steady the ship. Lauri Markkanen has probably played better than he has in the last couple of years with this team. We've already talked about Mobley and freaking Darius Garland, man. How good has he been? I mean, he's just been lights out. So I'm buying the Cavaliers just because I really like their veteran bench. I like those guys come off their bench. I like Garland as their leader and their point guard. They're young. They play on both ends of the floor, which is hard to find for a young team. With Mobley and Allen, you got those guys in there being big, protecting the paint. Darius Garland is an above-average perimeter defender. I mean, you've got all the makings of a solid basketball team. And I'm buying the Cleveland Cavaliers. Like you said, I don't know if they'll finish third in the East, but it will be cool to see them make the playoffs. And anybody they get matched up with in the playoffs, I think they'll give them fits.
I do too.
Okay, so is it safe to say that over the last couple years, with the start of Colin Sexton, that Cleveland's drafted fairly well, correct? Mm-hmm. They got Okoro, Mobley, Garland, Sexton all in the draft.
Windler.
They've let some guys go who didn't actually pan out until later on in their careers. I believe they drafted Joe Harris, which played when LeBron was back there the second time. They drafted Wiggins, which they gave up for K-Love, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
So they've had a good run ever since the Anthony Bennett pick of drafting decent players. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to throw some stats at you. They're 19-12 right now. So that's the best start that Cleveland's had to a season since 1997. So you're almost talking 25 years.
Wow.
Since LeBron has been gone, so we're talking about LeBron left, went to Miami, he came back, that doesn't count, left, went to the Lakers. They are 157-374, which puts them at a 29% winning percentage. So my take on this is that I think they are finally over the hump of like the LeBron factor of like we can win without LeBron. they figured out how to win now. I think the guys like Kevin Love, who, you know, 1 minute he says he wants to be there and the next minute he wants out, and, you know, he wants to sit because of whatever issues are going on. And you got guys like Rubio. I think they've now said, hey, we're going to adjust to our roles. And it looks like Cleveland now has a system put in place for them to have the style of basketball that they want to play. And I think that they are going to stay over 500 the entire year.
So, I don't know if you guys remember, Josh, you missed this episode or in the off season, but Ben, Sean, and I did it, where we did the NBA's over-unders. The Cavaliers over-under was 25. We all took the under.
I bet we did.
We all took the under.
I'm sure, man. You think about it, though. When we're looking at it in the summer, you had a disgruntled Kevin Love, Ricky Rubio
already talking about we hated getting traded there.
Yeah. I mean, Lauri Markkanen is coming off a dismal year. You know what I mean? We have no idea what Evan Mobley's going to be. Then we're looking at the clunkiness of Sexton and Garland both trying to play point guard. Like, to our credit, like looking at that roster at 1st, we were like, yeah, this is going to be a train wreck. But, you know, to their credit,
you know, it's the Cavs.
Yeah, it's the Cavs. You know, but to their credit, they figured it out. Like I said, I don't like to see anybody get hurt or be injured, but the addition by subtraction of Colin Sexton for some reason is, you know, letting Garland kind of take over and run that squad with Rubio coming off the bench.
They can get some really good pieces for Colin Sexton if they decide to part with him.
I think you have to move him, right?
What have we seen in the NBA over the past, you know, 30 something plus years, even when the Bulls were there before the Bulls, is that defense wins championships, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying the Cavs are going to win a championship, but they are allowing 104 points per 100 possessions, which puts them 3rd in the league.
Yep.
Yeah.
So basically, we're saying defensive rating, they're top 5.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, and the crazy part is when you look at those stats, like, I don't think people realize, you know, we got to throw Golden State in there at some point, how great Golden State is on defense, and the gap between Golden State at number 1 and then like whoever's at number 2 and then the Cavs at number 3, like how good their defense is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. It's awesome.
But Cleveland, you know, they're winning games, you know, defensively. I mean, the other night, if I'm not mistaken, they only gave up 89 points. I know they were playing the Rockets and the Rockets were shorthanded, but like that's a big deal to only give up 89 points in an NBA game. At the
last
rate
night they only gave up 90 to the Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now again, you know, people are probably going to say, well, you know, the Bucks' big 3 didn't play, or at least Middleton and Giannis didn't. Or was that the game that Drew had 40-something points, or was that the game before that?
That was the game before that. Last night, Jordan Nwora led the Bucks in scoring with 28.
Yeah. So you had no Middleton, no Holiday, and no Giannis.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I didn't think none of the big 3 played.
But you did have Sandro Mamukashvili. Ever heard of him?
Yep. Everybody gave him 17. DeMarcus Cousins had a double-double, 12 and 12.
In the last 4 seasons, Cleveland has finished 25th, 30th, and 29th in defensive rating. So they went from the bottom team in the league to 3rd. And when you play defense, you win games. It doesn't matter if you have a bad shooting night. If you can stop people, you have a chance to win every single night.
That's right. I
tell you what, big up to Coach Bickerstaff as well, man. He's done a great job there in Cleveland and getting those guys playing as well as they have. Kind of an underrated coach. His name gets brought up a lot when jobs open. And truth be told, you know, I don't know how much people wanted that Cavaliers job, but you know, he went in there and he's done a really good job with a really clunky roster and kind of giving guys defined roles. I mean, he got Kevin Love to buy in, he got Rubio to buy in, who both those guys were kind of out on Cleveland in the beginning. So big ups to Bickerstaff.
And probably got to give a little bit of love to Kobe as well too. I mean,
he had to do something right at some point.
Yeah, maybe we're not seeing what he's doing right, but apparently he's doing something right because that team is gelling right now. And for the rest of the season, I think Cleveland has the most favorable schedule from here on out. So,
gonna have to make a trip up to the Q, boys. Go see a game.
I'll tell you what,
I love going up there for games.
I do
cool.
too. I do. I've been up there a couple of times. I like Cleveland.
Yeah,
seeing a game up there anyway.
Hear me out here. Who would have been an incredible coach for this team? Like, I don't know if they could have had him though. Ty Lue.
Yeah.
Why would he ever coach in Cleveland?
God, could you imagine if Ty Lue had this roster? He's looking at the Clippers right now. He's like, Paul George is hurt. Kawhi's hurt. I'm playing Brandon Boston minutes right now.
Hey, I got a stumper for everybody, man. Who was the last Cleveland coach to win a championship?
Ty Lue! Remember when they hired John Beilein from Michigan and he called his players thugs and then he called them slugs?
Yeah, man.
That wasn't good, John. Not a good thing, John.
Dark days of Cleveland, man. Yeah. A dark day in Cleveland sports history.
Well, we don't want to remind the Cleveland fans of the dark times. We want you guys to enjoy this because we're enjoying this.
Absolutely.
We love watching this Cavs team, and they're going to come up later. We're not done talking about the Cavs.
Okay.
Ben, you mentioned you never want to see anyone get injured earlier. How'd you like that segue to Anthony Davis?
A.K.A. Street Clothes.
Street Clothes.
As Charles Barkley affectionately calls him, a.k.a. Street Clothes.
So, Anthony Davis is out up to 4 weeks. Let's be honest, this could be a lot longer than that. With an MCL sprain. Davis this year has struggled from the three-point area, just shooting about 19%. Looked at times, kind of be sluggish, moving slow. But even with us saying that, we just had this conversation last week with Jabari, still putting up about 23 a game, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 blocks in the 27 games he's played. The big question I have here, kind of get your thoughts on, is, look, we've seen LeBron James carry teams so many times, to the point where it's pretty impressive, some of the teams he's carried. See Cavaliers 2007 and Cavaliers 2018. But at this point, we've beaten to the ground all the flaws of this Lakers roster. Can LeBron and Russell Westbrook lead the Lakers without Davis for at least a month? Josh, I see you shaking your head.
No.
Go ahead. I'm trying to get my thoughts together.
I tell you why, and obviously this kind of leads into one of the topics that we're going to talk about later as well too. But I have already said we've seen LeBron out twice already this season, and one was, I believe, his ankle, and the other one was a core injury. But LeBron and COVID for 24 hours. He had that COVID bug. It came and went.
Right.
LeBron right now, I feel like he can't sustain the amount of minutes that he's playing while Anthony Davis is out. And I feel like they're just going to add more to his plate. At that age, he's going to be 37 in a week and a half, if I'm right.
Yeah.
December 30th or something like that's his birthday. So he's going to be 37.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I don't know what his career high is in minutes per season. But I know right now he's averaging about 37 minutes a game. And I know in his early years, he averaged probably well over 40, but 37 minutes, I think that's the most he averaged since he came back and won the championship with Cleveland. And I don't know if his body can hold up at 37 minutes a game for the rest of the season. So if they can't figure out a way to either make a trade to get some more guys in to help him, or figure
Miles Turner,
or figure out how to manage his minutes, I just think we're going to see him wear down just like Anthony Davis did. And he's going to end up being hurt.
So to put in context, this is the 13th most amount of minutes per game he's played in his career. That's insane to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah, that's tough. No, never would I doubt the great LeBron James. Never. However, I will put an asterisk by. He's got a tough road ahead because when LeBron was designing this team, which of course we all know LeBron designed this team.
Huh?
When LeBron was designing this team, he was designing it for Anthony Davis to be the star.
Yes.
Don't
Absolutely.
get it twisted. Like LeBron knows. Like, is he still phenomenal? Absolutely. But LeBron's like, man, I'm in my twilight years. I want to play less minutes. Anthony Davis can be the star. He can do everything that we're asking him to do. I want to be the guy that kick 2 for 3s. I can dribble, drive, and get assists. And now I bring in Russell Westbrook, who, for his credit, was averaging a triple-double, has done it several times. So he gives you that mixture of not only being able to drive, but also kick, be able to hit big shots. So I've got 2 guys that can come in and if we need them to be closers, have been closers before. But Anthony Davis is going to be our star. LeBron did not construct this roster for him to have to play 38 minutes and carry a team to victories every single night. That's just not the way he thought of it. That's not the way he wanted to do this.
No,
you saw that last year when Anthony Davis went down and then LeBron went down. You saw the same thing. LeBron has not built himself to be the main guy anymore. He just isn't. That's why he has Anthony Davis there. So that guy can carry the load. That guy can play the minutes. So that guy can do the things that he did for Miami when he was with D Wade. He did the same thing for D Wade that he wanted Anthony Davis to do for him. D Wade took a step back. LeBron was like, "Oh yeah, this is my time. Like I'm going to do this." D Wade could still score. D Wade could still do all the things you ask him to do. He was still phenomenal. But LeBron was the man. LeBron brought AD in to be the man. So I don't know how much of LeBron that LeBron had. I mean, the competitive nature of LeBron, yes, he can do it. I agree. He can do it. But I don't know if he can sustain it. I'm with you, Josh. That's a lot of minutes for a guy that's going to be 37, has 19 years in the league, on top of all the final. You know how that guy has played more games from beginning to finals. I mean, what are he playing, like 12 finals of his 19 years? Something like that?
10.
Plus
10?
Plus
10 finals?
And plus FIBA in the Olympics.
Yeah. So that guy's got a lot of mileage, man. Like, so when he's designed this team, like he's like, all right, Anthony Davis, you're going to carry us. I can do what, I can be LeBron. That's not a problem. But now that he's down, I just don't know if he's got that in him night after night, unless Russell Westbrook starts to become more like Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, and here's the add on to that. I think the other issue is with Anthony Davis and why he's hurt is he's playing the most minutes he's played in a season since he's been in New Orleans. So this is his 3rd year in LA. I know that doesn't seem like a lot, but he's averaging over 35 minutes, almost 35 and a half minutes a game. I think the most he's ever averaged was 36 and a half or close to it, but he's playing a lot of those minutes at the 5, where, he's down low banging and, not where sometimes he used to be. And, I know Tim was probably going to get into this about his shooting and stuff like that, where his percentages have went down as he steps away from the basket. But I think he's wearing down playing at the rim. And I don't know if in the off season, if they conditioned his body to be that guy, because he's never really been a true number 5. I mean, if you look at that one season, when he was in New Orleans, he had Boogie there, who got traded there, and he was really the 5. So Anthony Davis was playing the 4. I think he's really more comfortable at the 4, but like it's a different monster when you start playing the 5. And I know basketball sometimes can be positionless, but like you start getting in there with the Embiids and the Jokic's and those guys, like that's a different breed, man, guarding those guys versus guarding somebody who's at the 4. And I just think his body's breaking down. I think they're leaving him on the floor for longer periods of time, and it's starting to show. I mean, he got hurt twice in the game the other night where he rolled his ankle, came back, and then sprained his knee. if that's me, I'm like, oh man, you rolled your ankle, just sit him out the rest of the game, man, and let's make sure that doesn't get anything worse than that. They was like, no, we're going to put him back in, and look what happened.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely think, I mean, like we kind of said, like the way that they design the roster, you both are 100% accurate. But with that being said, you guys know where I'm going with this.
Mm-hmm.
DeAndre Jordan plays center for the Los Angeles Lakers. DeAndre Jordan. That was my Stephen A. How'd I do?
Yeah, it's pretty good, dude. Your Stephen A's getting better. It's getting better. I like it.
By the end of this season, you were going to morph into white Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah. Hey, you gotta drop. Hey, listen. You gotta drop a blasphemy. That's blasphemous.
I love when like they have. I'm just wondering how long is it going to be before he gets JJ Redick kicked off of like being on First Take, because JJ Redick owns him like every morning.
It'll take a minute because JJ Redick is ratings. So once JJ Redick stops being ratings and starts hurting Stephen A, he'll kick him off. But right now it's ratings because it's must-see TV to see JJ Redick put Stephen A in his place.
The only way JJ Redick is coming off that set is to go play for the Nets.
At this point, yeah, I'm with you, man. I like that. I like that theory, Josh. So with that being said, let's get to our next. You guys like these segues I'm putting together?
Yeah, man, you're all I'm loving it.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the first ever Bench Mob Tinfoil Hat Theories episode. We're going to discuss some of our theories that are so crazy they might just work. I wish I had like the X-Files theme that I had the rights.
I was going to say,
right
hold
there,
on.
like the.
Hold on.
Oh, we have way too much fun here on the show.
Yes, we do.
Alrighty, so Ben turned in. I asked everybody for just one, but Ben turned in two very fun tinfoil hat theories. So Ben,
yes, sir.
Let's put your tinfoil hat on. Let's start with the Suns trade for Domantas Sabonis. What's your thought process here?
My thought process is Sabonis doesn't want to be there. Let's bring in some pieces. Honestly, Rick Carlisle is a guy that likes to have his own guys in, and I just don't know how well him and Sabonis match up. Sabonis doesn't want to be there. The Suns need another guy that can stretch the floor, can score, can rebound. He's not a huge defensive presence, but he does do a good enough job to be able to take a little bit of pressure off DeAndre Ayton. Let's bring in him. He can stretch the floor a little bit. He shoots the ball well. He's a perennial all-star. And, if we're trying to win a championship, what's one more piece that we can bring in and make us better? Domantas Sabonis is that guy. And in turn, the Pacers get some pieces that they can, possibly build around or trade or do whatever they want to do with them to reconstruct the roster the way Rick Carlisle wants it.
So if you look here in the corner, I put together just a general, like throwing stuff together, throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks kind of thing for how you can make this trade work. So the Suns will be getting Sabonis, and in return, the Pacers will be getting, and like this is not going to happen. This is not going to be great if this goes down. Dario Saric, Jalen Smith, and Abdel Nader. This is just kind of seeing what money works here.
Right.
So cap impact there is $3.5 million for, positive to negative. So I love the fit of Domantas Sabonis with the Suns. I think Ayton, Sabonis, Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Mikal Bridges team is just don't even roll the ball out there and see,
stacked.
And it's you're in trouble. So if it happens, I love it. I'm all for it. I think it'd be a blast, and I think they'd be awesome.
Yeah, I just think that the Suns were so close last year. Not saying that they are missing any pieces, but if the Pacers are talking about trading away a Sabonis, why would the Suns not look at trying to bring him in? Because honestly, I mean, the only other team, of course, there are other teams that could use him, But I think that a team on the cusp like the Suns, you bring in a guy like Sabonis could put you over the hump.
I like it. Josh, any thoughts before we move on to the next segment?
I want to throw in there that and hopefully I hope that you guys both agree with me that I think Sabonis might be the most underrated, underappreciated guy in the entire league. The guy just goes out every single night and he balls out every night. Yeah. And I don't know if some of the younger generation ever got to watch his dad play. Obviously, it's where he gets a lot of his skill set from, and you can kind of tell. You can see a little bit of it, especially from his passing.
Yeah,
his dad was a wizard with passing the ball at as big as he was, and I just wish we would have got to see his dad in his prime. We kind of got him late, over in the NBA. But this guy's been a 2-time All-Star. Some people were saying he shouldn't have been an All-Star, but then I saw him go in the All-Star game and show that he can be an All-Star with any guy that's on the floor. And I also think he's a guy you can build around. And I think that the Pacers have had the guys there at certain spots, and it's never worked out for him because of injuries, So I think at this point to move on from him, I like him. I think Sabonis is a guy that would fit wherever you put him. He's going to fit on any team because I think he can adjust his game enough to make it to where he can do all the little things and still put up solid numbers. He doesn't have to be the true focal point of the offense, and I think that's why he fits in so many different scenarios. And it looks like he just has a high basketball IQ, so he can fit different systems as well too. So I like it. I do think that if that was to happen, I do think that kind of makes Phoenix the front runners to win it all if they get him, because you just basically gave him another all-star guy who can put up at any given time.
Yeah.
I just wish he wasn't a cone defensively because Phoenix.
Well, yeah, that's the biggest thing. Well, that's the biggest thing about it too, is that the Suns are a decent defensive team, and I don't know if he would. That would be his biggest liability. Is
they can probably hide him a little bit, to be honest with you.
They definitely could hide him with Ayton and Bridges.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I like the trade. I think I don't necessarily like these pieces here, though. I think Jalen Smith's going to end up being an okay NBA player.
Yeah.
I say the Suns do this trade in a heartbeat, and then the Pacers are like, hell no.
Yeah, right. We already got enough big men. We don't need more.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, I think the Suns could find pieces that would work. So
I agree. All right. And Ben also had this one, which has been the trade we've been hearing about forever. The 76ers and Blazers eventually make a deal around Ben Simmons for Damian Lillard. We've heard that Clutch has said that they also want Tyrese Maxey out of Philadelphia. So here it is. Damian Lillard for Ben Simmons and Tyrese Maxey. Works.
Yeah. My thought process behind this is that Dame is only going to move if he's going to a contender. And I think you have enough pieces in Philly, even without Maxey and Simmons, to bring Dame in. You have Embiid, you have Tobias Harris. I think you can build a really good group around those three. And I think Dame needs a change of scenery. I know that he's trying to be a loyal guy. I get it. He's a West Coast guy. I mean, he's from Seattle, I believe. So I mean,
Oakland.
My bad. So he's from Oakland, but he's a West Coast guy. I just think that change of scenery, playing with some different people, I think would help him. And of course, it also solves the Ben Simmons issue. I think it would solve the Ben Simmons issue. I'm not really sure if it would. I mean, I don't know if Ben Simmons wants to play basketball. I'm not really sure, but yeah, I just think that moving Dame, it helps build Philly. And truth be told, it kind of Ben Simmons in Portland may be a decent move as far as Ben Simmons' ability to get to the rim, play defense, and do those types of things. Now, I don't think it'll help them do anything in the West, but Dame Lillard's had that shot and hasn't came out of the West. So,
preach.
Yeah, I didn't want to touch that one because I felt like that was one that we kind of all were thinking was going to happen, and I really, really, really think that at some point, either that's going to happen or it's not going to happen. And I kind of lean towards maybe it not happening, because I don't know if the Sixers are willing to part ways with both players to get Dame. Because I think Maxey could actually start there and be their guy. I think he's good enough. So they might try to ask for too much on both sides and it ends up blowing up in each other's face and it just never happens.
Yeah, I definitely could see that being the case. All right, Josh, you're up with your theory of the Mavs will trade Kristaps Porzingis for Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, I was actually just trying to think of something off the wall. And here's kind of how I went with this. Kyrie doesn't really care much for New York because he doesn't want to follow the protocol of being vaccinated to play, so they can't use him. Porzingis, I actually feel loves New York and probably didn't really want to leave. And going back to New York, I think would probably be a good thing for him. And then Kyrie can go to Texas, where I feel like Texas don't care about any of the mandates for COVID. So I just felt like both teams, I think, kind of get better in the deal. Like Porzingis doesn't really want to be there. I don't know if a lot of people realize this, but like Porzingis is probably 7'3".
Yeah.
And I keep hearing all these guys in the NBA saying like, who's the hardest guy to go at it again at the rim? And they say Porzingis. And he kind of seems like he's slow-footed, but like he's always around the rim blocking shots. So the Nets need a defensive presence that could be okay with being a second or third guy with Harden and KD. So I figured, why not make it happen?
I like it.
I do like that.
Kyrie and Luka would be just like Kyrie and LeBron for all I see. I mean, that's basically the same as what you had in Cleveland. So I see them being able to figure out how to make that work. And it takes the pressure off of Luka sometimes because now you have a guy that at any given time can go score on the floor no matter what. They may have to give up a little more. I think Kyrie's contract's worth a little more than Porzingis. Like I was thinking maybe like a Jalen Brunson type guy would go with him.
I don't think Dallas is going to get rid of Jalen Brunson.
No, they like, yeah.
But yeah, that's why I threw that together, man. I think Porzingis actually makes the Nets better.
All right. Not bad. Not bad. I wouldn't have thought of it. Yeah, I think definitely like two ball handlers makes a ton of sense for how Dallas wants to run their offense, especially with Jason Kidd as the coach. I can't wait for Kyrie when they're like, "Are you excited that you play for Steve Nash and Jason Kidd?" And he'll be like, "Well, anyone could be a point guard." George Marason could have been a point guard.
And Boban out there handling the rock, huh?
Yeah, exactly. I like it though. It's definitely unique. All right, so here's mine. My first one. That Nikola Jokic, when he is a free agent in a couple seasons, will end up signing with the Chicago Bulls. We obviously know that there's a very big European presence in the city of Chicago. Arvinas Karnisovas, the current president of basketball operations for the Bulls, discovered Nikola Jokic. Nikola Vukovic will be a free agent after next season. Marko Simonovic has already been hanging out with Jokic quite a bit. They when the Nuggets and Bulls played, they were chowing together, and the Bulls are pretty high on Marko Simonovic for their future. And let's be honest, he's going to look at that roster and go, okay, I've got this Michael Porter thing here where he's hurt all the time. I got this Jamal Murray thing where I don't know if he's going to be able to play. I got Jeff Green. Jeff Green won't be there by then, let's be honest.
No, come on, man. Jeff Green won't be there.
And he goes, but over there, they've got like Zach LaVine. I have no doubt the Chicago Bulls signed back Zach LaVine. By the way, DeMar DeRozan had 38 points tonight for the Bulls to beat the Lakers.
I just saw that.
DeMar DeRozan's going to look really good next to me. I got Lonzo Ball, and me and him could be the best passing duo in basketball. And, bro, I like to eat. Portillo's is where it's at in Chicago. Like, yeah. Nikola Jokic, Chicago Bull. Let's get this going, baby. Championship.
That's pretty cool. You know what? To see that kind of come to fruition would be pretty neat. Here's the thing about that would be cool is that the battles between him and Giannis and in the East, him and Embiid in the East, like Dude, that would be something special. And you want to talk about some big time games. That would be a lot of fun to watch. I don't know who could really compete with that as far as in the Eastern Conference. With DeRozan doing what he's doing, Levine doing what he's doing, and then bringing in an MVP. I mean, you're going to be set. You're setting yourself up for some championships with those three on your roster.
Yeah, buddy.
Not bad. I like how you connected the dots on that too.
Yep. I'm all here for it. My tinfoil hat is very high today.
I'll tell you what, the Serbian community in Chicago is hot. So
hey,
yep.
his brothers. It'd be a lot easier for his brothers to get to Chicago than it will to Denver. So
that's right.
It's Chicago's kind of a melting pot too. So yeah, I mean, I don't know how the Serbian population is in Denver, but I know it's pretty high in Chicago. I think that would be a great fit for him. Like you said, there's a lot of connections and a lot of things that he likes. It makes sense. It makes complete sense.
And Portillo's. Portillo's is where it's at. Portillo's, what's up?
I'm with it.
Sponsor us.
Well, hey, your logo right here at the bottom, baby.
Yeah.
Perfect. Portillo's at the bottom. I like it.
Right?
Yeah.
Right
us some Chicago style hot dogs. Ooh.
Yes.
Yes, please.
All right. What's number 2, Timmy?
All right. We're having some fun with this one, folks. So,
all right.
We talked about the Cavaliers earlier, and we're liking this really nice team they're building, right? Mm-hmm. We've talked about, Colin Sexton's been addition by subtraction. At this point of 2023, 2024, these guys would be starting to enter their primes. Jared Allen's probably already getting close to his prime.
Mm-hmm.
If not, has already tapped into it. Probably in the middle of his prime at this point. Evan Mobley, I've already said, I feel like he's going to be the next great NBA basketball player. I think we're going to be talking about him as the best player in the world in a few years. Isaac Okoro is a dog defensively. Darius Garland is going to be an excellent point guard for years to come. But notice it says starting 5 here, and there's only 4, and the Cavaliers are going to need a veteran leader. So, gentlemen, in 2023, 2024, the 5th starter for the Cleveland Cavaliers will be LeBron James! Yeah!
It's coming.
I'm coming home.
Round 3.
Coming home. Again. Coming home.
Again.
It makes too much sense. It makes way too much sense. He's going to look at the Lakers roster and be like, well, we couldn't find someone to take Russell Westbrook's contract, and I don't know how often Anthony Davis is going to play. And Evan Mobley looks really good, and I feel like I can really teach him a lot of stuff, and I can end my career breaking the scoring record in Cleveland and winning another championship, bringing another ring to the land, and getting my 5th? Too easy.
Wow. Question.
Plus, I think LeBron needs to retire as a Cavalier.
Exactly. I'm with you, Josh.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, dang, that would be dope though. Like that.
How old is Tom Brady? 44?
44.
Yeah, I can see LeBron playing.
Couldn't you?
That's just 2 seasons away, right? So that's 39.
That's one more.
I'm convinced. Listen, I'm convinced he's trying to wait until Bronny gets in the league. I'm convinced.
All right, there's the thing. So Bronny's eligible for the draft in this year, 23-24. If the Cavaliers draft Bronny James,
he's
right
going.
now is the 38th rated high school player in the country for his class.
He's going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if they draft him, there's no doubt about it. He'll be there.
Yeah. Should we look at it again one more time, guys? The Cavaliers in 2023-24 will look at Darius Garland, Isaac Okoro, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, and LeBron James.
LeBron James. Wow. Cleveland! This is for you.
We're going to put the sign back up on the side of the queue with them throwing the stuff in the air and says Cleveland on it.
I'm still a witness. I'm still a witness.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Witnesses.
You think they got? Hey, listen, honestly, you think they got that banner rolled up under the arena somewhere? Just wait.
I'm
They have
sure.
to.
Just wait.
He's already came back once.
Yeah.
He's already came back once. Like, why would you get rid of it?
Yeah, and when he went to the Lakers and he did that interview with Rachel Nichols about like when he opened his school, she asked him, you know, would you want to end your career in Cleveland? And he didn't say no.
Yeah. I mean, what better way to, you know, that's I would say 23-24 would be his farewell season. You call, you know, let's call it LeBron going home, farewell season. I'm trying to break Kareem's record. Bronny gets drafted to the Cavaliers. I've got all this young talent. I got to play that Carl minutes with the Lakers minutes, 15 minutes a game. I'm giving out knowledge. You know, I don't have to do too much. I got all these young bulls around me. Like, it makes perfect sense for him his swan song to go off in Cleveland. He'd be what, 40, 39 years old. But part of me thinks that he's going to play like into like 41, 42. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I just think that he takes.
It's not going to work with him playing 39 minutes a game like he did tonight.
No.
Oh, no. That'll definitely shorten the career for sure. But, you know, to see him as athletic as he still is, like, I think it would be easy for him to play till he's 40, 41, 42. I don't think that's going to be a problem. It's all about want to by then. Like, it's about having the drive to want to play. Because as a competitor, at some point, you got to be like, all right, I'm just don't want to do this anymore. Like, Tom Brady hasn't reached that point because Tom Brady's still playing for championships, just won one last year. At some point, LeBron's going to look up and be like, man, I don't have a shot at a championship unless I go play with that young Cleveland team and try to show them how to win a championship. So it makes sense.
I'm with it. LeBron James, Cleveland Cavaliers again.
I'm coming home.
We're gonna have to get Diddy to do a remix. Right there. I used to be my jam too.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I love
awesome.
it. All right, so we'll go ahead and end this here with our Bench Gawds this week. And Josh, we got you up first. You went with?
I went with Isaiah Thomas, man. I was going to pick somebody else at first, but I was like, man, he came back his first game back and was the leading scorer on the Lakers team the other night. And he didn't look like he was rusty at all.
Big ups to him, man.
I'll tell you that. I tell people this, man. I know he's not a big guy. He might be 5'8". I know they list him at 5'9", but he's a professional bucket getter, man. That's the best I can say about him. Like, he goes in and he gets buckets. And
yeah, he's 5'9" with shoes on.
Yeah.
High shoes, Skechers.
Scored 13 tonight. He had 19 the other night. You know, puts him at 16 a game. The Lakers are already having to play him at high minutes. He played 32 minutes tonight. And I don't know, man. I feel like the route this guy's had to take to get himself back to the league, which probably never should have happened. As far as I'm concerned, he probably should still be playing for Boston right now, probably. He never gave up, man. He never gave up. And we see him playing in these other leagues, putting up 40, 50, 60 points. He's in the G League, you know, saucing people. And I was like, it's only a matter of time for somebody who's going to give him a chance. I really hope he just stays on the roster for the rest of the year. I know
he
Tim,
will.
When you first saw it, you sent the text message out and you said, yeah, that's who we're signing. But I really think he's a spark, man. Like, you know, like I said, he's instant offense. He can get to the free throw line. I'm just super happy that he's getting another chance to show what he can showcase in the league. You know, being one of the little guys, I mean, the only guy I can think of at his height that was doing what he was doing was like Nate Robinson, you know, a few years ago when Nate was with the Bulls and he was doing all that stuff he was doing. But big ups to Isaiah Thomas, man, getting another shot in the league.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think that's the coolest thing, man. Seeing the guy's journey and how far he's come from where he, started with. We heard the story in Boston to where he is tonight, and it's truly amazing. You watch a guy score 42 in the G League. He gets called up, scores 19. You know what I mean? Like his story is pretty cool. To see all the things that he's been through, and then to be able to come in and still show that he can play in the league. Big up to Isaiah Thomas, man. It's awesome.
I would like to know if LeBron had his hand in that, though.
Yeah, I'm sure he did.
I'm most certain that he did.
By the way, tonight was the first time the Lakers have lost on a Sunday this year. The Sunday streak is over.
Oh wow.
Yeah. 6-1 on Sundays.
That's tough.
That's what happens when you run into DeMar DeRozan.
You ain't lying about that.
Mm-hmm.
What do you have? 38 tonight.
38.
That boy's a dog.
That's the dog. All right, Ben. You are next up for your bench god. We went Villanova today. I like it.
Yeah, buddy. Jalen Brunson, man. He's I tell you what, he had to step into the starting role tonight for Luka, but he finished tonight, I believe, with 18 points and 11 assists in 39 minutes. 2 of 5 from 3, 6 of 13 from the field. But looking at his this past week for him, we see last week versus the Hornets, he scored 13 points, tallied 8 assists. And then versus Wednesday versus the Lakers, he had 25 points and had 9 assists. He's played really well for the Mavs, who's, of course, like everybody else, has been struggling with COVID protocol and, your superstar being out. He's really kind of stepped up and kind of filled that role with some of that scoring and leading that team for this past week. So Jalen Brunson, my bench Gawd of the week.
Yeah, he's been playing really well, man.
Yeah.
Comes from the Big East, baby. That's what we do in the Big East.
That's how they do.
Yeah. At this point, we should probably just quit doubting when people draft Villanova players.
Oh, yeah.
Mikal Bridges, Jalen Brunson.
They're so solid.
They take a little bit longer. They take a little bit longer to find their roles on teams, but they're just always solid ball players.
Mm-hmm. They are, man. They are. Watching that team every year and just seeing the stuff that Jay Wright puts them, gets them going. It's crazy. It's fun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Xavier plays them on Tuesday, actually.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah.
Oh, that'll be a good game, man.
Yeah,
I know this ain't that large a bit, but man, freaking Xavier's one of the hottest teams in the country, man. They're so good.
They are good, man. They are good.
Bro, they got all the guys. They got all the guys that can score.
Yeah, I like Xavier a lot, man. I like Xavier a lot.
They're a fun team. I'll get you to cover a game there this year. Don't worry.
Oh, I appreciate it. I'd like Xavier a lot.
Yeah. And mine this week, I went with the guy as the backup point guard for the best record in the NBA. I went with Cameron Payne of the Phoenix Suns, who if you had told me 3 years ago I'd be talking about Cameron Payne, I just said you're a damn fool, Happy.
Yeah.
So the Suns have won. They went 2-1 this week. They lost to the Clippers on Monday. But Cam Payne was 17-6-1 in that game against the Clippers. On Tuesday against the Blazers, he had 17-3-5. Thursday against the Wizards, who have come back down to earth, he had 11-3-5. And then tonight, as they blasted the Charlotte Hornets, he didn't have to play much. He had 11-6-7 with 2 steals and a block on 5 of 6 shooting. So the Cameron Payne resurgence, who at one point I literally thought was the worst player in the NBA. I think his Bulls run, he legitimately had a case as the league's worst player.
Yeah.
To see him do this, completely turn his career around, be a part of a team that went to the finals last year and be a contributor, and now be their 6th man and has to be in the discussion for 6th man of the year.
Absolutely.
I mean, this is cool, man. This is awesome for him. I'm really happy that he got to get to a situation where he could learn under Chris Paul, and obviously that's paying dividends for them. He's been excellent. Monty really trusts him. So, yeah, man, I went with Cam Payne. I really like his season he's having.
Oh, yeah. He's been solid for them. And especially for a team that's, in the hunt for a championship, to see a guy like Cam Payne, come off the bench and give them big minutes. Like you said, A year and a half ago, he wasn't. He was struggling to stay in the league. His Bulls run wasn't the greatest, but to see him get around some veteran guys and some guys that are willing to sacrifice themselves for the better of the team, it was cool to see him kind of step up and be that sixth man off the bench and do the things that he's been able to do. So big ups to Campaign.
Yeah, I like the way he's contributing. One thing that I did say early on in the season that I thought was going to be a thing was that I thought they would use Campaign a lot more to keep Chris Paul fresh. And Chris Paul's actually averaging more minutes this year than he was last year. So I guess they're like, nah, Chris Paul's healthy, man. We're just gonna play him. But yeah, like you can see, like Campaign has no fear when he's on the floor, man. Like none at all. Like he takes big shots. Like he gets to the bucket. He's got a real crazy shooting motion, but he makes, like I said, he makes them though, man. And he showed up big in the playoffs last year. And like I said, sometimes like you just need a home. And I think maybe Monty Williams was that guy that kind of pulled him in and was like, look, we're going to need you. This is what we need from you. And he's like, okay, I got you.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, man. I'm happy for him. I really am. It's the fact he's going to be on a good NBA team. Right now you're probably going to think they're, them and the Nets. They're probably something that looks like what the finals probably is right now.
Yeah.
Warriors, Bulls obviously will have something to say about that and so on and so forth. But yeah, man, I think, I'm happy with what he's doing. I hope he keeps this up. I like that Suns team a lot, so we'll keep it going. So, yeah, that's going to wrap up this week's edition of the Bench Mob here on the 48 Minutes Basketball Network. Thank you all for tuning in each and every week. We will have our at-large bid up actually on Tuesday this week. We'll get you ready kind of talk about some of Villanova's struggles, some of the big games in the conference play this week as things are going on. And then we'll also shot callers on Friday. Kyle and Joe are going to be doing their Christmas spectacular. Kind of giving you a preview for the Christmas Day games as far as I don't know, will the Brooklyn Nets have enough players to play? We don't know. Will Richard Jefferson be playing for the Nets that day? Probably.
Could be.
Yeah. So all that kind of to go up. It's going to be a fun week this week. We're going to have some articles that you can check out on the website. Thank you all. Have a good one. And since we won't talk to you then, hope you have a great Christmas with your loved ones. A happy holidays in general. So take it easy, everybody.
See you.
Good night, Cleveland.